Hi viewers, welcome back to another very interesting episode of Carnatic Music. Everybody is invited. Where did we stop in the previous episode? We stopped with K5. I gave you one example in Shankarabharanam, the category of kritis which we had named as K5, where there are just two segments, Pallavi and Charanam. I would like to sing one more kriti of this category before we go further. And this is another Tyagarajar creation. It is in the raga Deshiya Todi. Namo Namo Raghavaya Anisham. Namo 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 Raghavaya Anisham. Namo 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 Sukhanutaya Deenabandhave Sakala Loka Daya Sindhave. Namo Namo Raghavaya Anisham. Namo 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 Nutana Navanita Bhakshine Bhusuradhi Sarvasakshine. Namo Namo Raghavaya Anisham. Namo 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 Namo. Before I sing the concluding charanam of this kriti, I want to draw your attention to one small thing. Just notice in the words, the word Tyagaraja will appear. Nagaraja Palanaya Tyagaraja Sevitaya. Namo Namo Raghavaya Anisham. Namo 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 Namo. That word Tyagaraja that you see, that is called the mudra of the composer. Some composers have mudras, some composers don't, but it is fine. But Tyagaraja kritis you can immediately identify when you see the word Tyagaraja in the concluding line of the song. If you see in Dikshatar kritis, you will see the word Guru Guha, which is the signature of Muthuswami Dikshatar. And Shyama Shastri's kritis, you will see the word Shyama Krishna. Now that brings us to the trinities of Carnatic music, Tyagarajar, Muthuswami Dikshatar and Shyama Shastri, who were contemporaries and who are regarded as the greatest composers of Carnatic music. In fact, people hold them with a lot of respect and regard. Apart from them, there are other composers also, but while talking of the mudra, I thought I can draw your attention to this. So we were discussing the concept of K5. Now I am going back to my slate again, and what am I going to do now? I can correct this, or I can turn over and write something. I will turn over and write something. K6. What is K6? Obviously, since I have not written a long passage here, you must have guessed that the segments are pretty easy to write. You are actually correct. It is Pallavi and plus just one charanam. That is the speciality, the one charanam. What is it here? Pallavi and charanam, yes, but there were multiple charanams. In fact, even in the Deshiya Todi kriti, there are more charanams, but I sang only 3. There are multiple charanams here. But the fact is that all the charanams have the same tune. But in K6, there is only one charanam, and that one charanam format, it is called Samashti Charanam. So these kinds of kritis have the opening pallavi. These kritis are generally quite small, and then some of them, maybe even most of them, have a high speed segment, and then the kriti comes to a close. So let us see one or two examples of Samashti Charanam too. Now this kriti is in the ragam Simendra Madhyamam, a Dikshitar creation. Shaileshwaram bhajare re cheta shri varada guru guha mudam varana. Shaileshwaram bhajare re cheta shri varada guru guha mudam varana. Shaileshwaram bhajare. Shailatmaka kamakshi ramanam shivakanchi sadanam mridugadanam. Shailatmaka kamakshi ramanam shivakanchi sadanam mridugadanam. Bhiladvaranta madhyasthitam bahukirtita bhasharamanananutam. Shaileshwaram bhajare. Over. Kriti is over. Such a small kriti, such a small cute kriti. Such kritis are called Samashti Charanam. Another very popular Samashti Charana kriti is on goddess Saraswati, which is in Arabi Ragam. Shri Saraswati Namostute Varade. Shri Saraswati Namostute. So all these kritis come under this particular format. Now that we have discussed these formats, there are two more formats of kritis which I would really love to discuss with you. But then I would also like to move on to creative music, and so what I would do is, instead I will just write out those formats for you, and so that we know that there are formats which we need to discuss. One is K7, which is the Pancharatna kritis. K8, the Ragamalika kritis, and then another very interesting format which is Swarajati. Now all these I would like to take up independently in greater detail, but before that I would also like to cover the Raga Alapana, the Kalpana Swaram, the Neraval, all of which I will do in the next episode. I will just briefly touch upon what the Pancharatna kritis are, and we will take all these because these are compositions which required considerable time to talk to you, and I would like to do it that way. So the Pancharatna kritis are again a creation of Tyagaraja, and very beautiful compositions, very long compositions, and these are I would say somewhat like the signature pieces of Carnatic music, because if you see in the Tyagaraja Aradhana, these kritis are sung as a chorus, and every year after year these kritis are sung. And so in fact I told you that there are minor changes that we see in kritis and the padantarams, but somehow because of the fact that these kritis are sung as a chorus and we have heard them so many times, perhaps it would not be wrong to say that these are perhaps the most standardized way of singing of kritis that we can see, because almost everyone sings it the same way. So the Pancharatna kritis that way occupy a very prominent place in Carnatic music. And then our K8, the Ragamalika kritis. Ragamalikas are like a favorite with listeners, and there are so many types of Ragamalikas. Definitely we will be doing them in detail in one of the future episodes. And then there is another very interesting genre, and that is called Swarajati. In fact, I could have touched upon it between Geetam and Varnam, but I did not because I didn't want to confuse any of you. So from Geetam I went over to the Varnam because there is a category which is Swarajati, and there are some very interesting Swarajatis, especially the creation, the three Kamakshi Swarajatis of Shyama Shastri, which I really need to talk to you about. So all of it we will take up in greater detail in one of the future episodes. And in the next episode, as I told you, we will move over to two things. One is series compositions. Like this Pancharatna Kritis, there are a few other series of compositions. I'll talk to you about that, and then we will move on to the Raga Alapana, Neraval, Swaram, etc. I hope you enjoyed watching this episode. You were watching Carnatic Music. Everybody is invited.